Now, welcome to another episode of World on a Plate. I'm your host, Ragnar, and this is World Chefs Podcast. Sometimes when asked to explain what is World Chefs, I sort of say it's like a United Nations of chefs. We have a member association, partner school in well over 100 countries. And this is an immense opportunity to connect and experience the world. Just to tell you, I just got back from the ICA Culinary Olympics, around 2,000 competitors, 150 World Chef certified judges from 70 countries. You can just imagine the ambience. So you meet old friends, make new friends, and it's really, you realize it's just a very, very small world. And so this episode, who would know better about being a small world than my own friend, the international man of mystery, as I like to call him. I've got with me John Lohr. John, welcome to the show.
Oh, Ragnar, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for the
You
invite.
too. You too. So just to give people status, I mean, when we first met, but I don't know, almost 10 years ago or 8 years ago, we realized how many common contacts we had all around the world. And now just to give people a status of where you are today, is you are now executive director of external affairs at Dusit Thani in Bangkok. So let's talk a
Yeah,
bit about that.
yeah, it's a long way for a Nebraska boy to come, right? From the
A long
US.
way from you're a long way from Nebraska, boy.
Yeah, it's honestly it's wonderful. I mean, I remember when I was very young and again growing up in Nebraska, I truly come from the middle of nowhere. I mean, that sounds cliche, but I do, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And Asia seems so far away and Europe seems so far away, but look, if you just kind of take those opportunities when they come, found out about Switzerland. Switzerland led me to Thailand for the first time. Thailand led me to India. India led me to Poland. My wife is Polish, as you know. You
Yeah,
know her
yeah,
very well.
I
For
know.
the points at the W, yeah, you know her very well. And then Poland led me to Spain, and Spain pandemic led me back to Poland. And then, from actually one of those events way back when in Dubai, I had this Bangkok connection. And there was the rector there, Ms. Frauke Gerben, said, look, we want to internationalize our school. We're the first and largest in Thailand, but we're still pretty Thai. And I just jumped on it. All these opportunities, perhaps in a bit hindsight, I jumped too fast, but I jumped kind of a jump in, American, shoot first, figure it out later, right? But it's all led and helped me out, really. So I'm delighted to be here in Bangkok, the largest, most visited city on earth.
Yeah. No, it's an amazing story and so important for when you're young. If you don't do it when you're young, if you don't start,
Nah.
you will still be stuck in Nebraska. I'm sorry to say, but
No, hey, Nebraska's not so bad.
and that's it.
I
And then
kid
I'm
you not.
saying sorry for all my audience in Nebraska, but of
I
course.
think you have millions. We only have like a million people in Nebraska, but if they're all listening, they all don't like you right now. No,
Exactly.
but
Big thanks to
I
my
kid you
all
not.
my friends in Nebraska.
I kid you not. Do you know what the national tourism slogan is for Nebraska? It's, hey, it's not for everybody.
Oh. No, but absolutely, I can relate to that. I come from Iceland, and I love going back, but for short periods. And I left my home country when I was 16 to Canada for a year, and I had to go back to Iceland, and then I moved away at 21 and never looked back, and never looked back, but jump on opportunities, an important thing. And so this is what we wanted to talk about in this episode because we have so much things we do with young chefs, with the schools, and now you are at the head of the Dusit Thani, the school in Bangkok, and uh, and you have this international experience program that you're going to talk about, the Destination Bangkok, which is an amazing opportunity. But tell me first. So Dusit Thani. So this is a program created by Dusit Thani. What's new on the agenda at Dusit Thani? How long have you been there now? And what is the latest happenings there?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here now for
Are
almost
you
6 months.
plotting
This isn't that long.
six
Yeah,
months? Yeah.
months. Yeah.
What's the
So
plot?
look, I, I mean, I came in and I knew this was a good school. Again, it's the first hospitality culinary school in Thailand, and it's the largest. It has 3,000 students. But the thing that drew me to it is its connection with the industry. And I don't mean connection, I mean ownership. Dusit Hotels owns us. In
Mm,
fact, Dusit Hotels has an entire separate education division, which has our college, which has Le Cordon Bleu, Dusit. You may not have known that, yeah.
mm.
And it even has an innovative culinary center called the Food School. Don't worry, we'll get them as a World Chefs member very soon. I'm working on it. Don't worry. and that's just such a unique opportunity because we are directly linked with the industry. Today, I was on the management call with 56 general managers of Dusit hotels all around the world. I mean, what normal academic institution gets that kind of access?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the opportunity, right? And Destination Bangkok was something where I said, look, this is a great city. People love coming here, but let's not just make this a tour about seeing temples and going on boats. Let's make it academic through our college. Let's make it experiential through Dusit, and let's make it industry related through all the Dusit properties we can get inside. So, and it's frankly, it's totally unique. I've never heard of any program except maybe the Emirates Academy in UAE that has a kind of combined effort of having academic, industry, culinary, corporate, all in one package.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Let's dive into that. Hey, you've been now in Thailand for 6 months. Just on the temple side and the culture side, how are you settling in Thailand? You
I think the better question is how are my wife and kids settling in Thailand?
Are they? Oh yeah. So you don't see Thailand, you don't see Bangkok, you just go to work.
So there's a great guy named Lars Elpvik who kind of had a similar position to me, and he told me he's now at the in Saudi with some of the Red Sea development programs, and he said, "You're gonna love it, but you're not gonna see it. They will."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
But
I don't.
why would people what do you love about Thailand? What I mean, you've been there many times, and what are you particularly fond about in Thailand and Bangkok?
This might sound crazy being an American coming from the land of the free, but I enjoy the freedom.
Mm,
There is just so much freedom to be yourself, do what you want, don't worry about preconceived notions. I mean, this country has reputations on all spectrums, let's just say, right? But they accept everything, you know,
mm,
and I that's so refreshing, really, in some of the, let's say, more right wing directions that some of the countries in the world are going to. Here, it's just, let people be people, let them enjoy what they enjoy, but it still keeps a very clear sense of control through its link to the government and to even the royalty. But there's just this natural freedom that's felt, and that's very refreshing. And I think for a student, it's inspiring, really, to be in that kind of place.
right. So consider, that I think for many of in the past who are looking for education in hospitality, culinary, they're looking into Switzerland or the traditional. So what is your take on that? Sort of how is so you're telling us now, and young people listening to us, consider Thailand for education. That's what you're saying.
I guess I'm saying one, return on investment. It is still a very cheap place to live in Thailand. It
Mm,
may
mm.
not be forever like this, but it's one of the cheapest and yet most developed countries and cities in the world. Hong Kong's great, but it's very expensive. Singapore's
That's
fantastic, very expensive, and Switzerland's very expensive.
yeah.
But I guess the thing I keep on thinking about is that you want to study where the opportunities are. And let's be honest, how many hotel chains are growing their portfolios in Switzerland right now?
Okay.
But how
Yeah.
many are growing them in Asia? This is where the action is. So
Mm,
any kind of job growth and career growth happens here the fastest, you
mm.
know? Yeah.
That's interesting. Interesting thought for young people who are maybe looking into expand their careers. And so this program that we're going to talk about also that's a great opportunity to come and see. Not too bad as an argument that Thailand is one of the like Bangkok street food capital of the world.
Oh,
What's the food scene like? Have you
yeah.
put on some weight?
No, well, so first I lost weight and then I gained weight, you know? And everybody said I would. Just because there's so much delicious taste at very, very affordable prices, right?
Yeah.
And again, yes, you can find Michelin star restaurants. The city has one of the most Michelin stars in the entire world. You can equally enjoy sitting on those little plastic stools at 2 o'clock in the morning after the bars close, right? And again, if you're a young person, you want to be, I'm sorry to say, but I did study in Switzerland, spending 30 francs for a beer or a couple drinks and then taking 100 franc taxi home. And for that amount of money, you could spend 5 weekends going out in Bangkok. It reminds me a bit when I lived in Berlin too. I was there when I was younger. It was kind of this quasi hedonistic and or bohemian capital of culture. And that's kind of how I see Bangkok as for young people. But also for professionals, it's a very, very mature professional working environment. I mean, you have again the hotels, you have the corporates, and you have all these alumni groups of schools that actually have associations here. EHL, Lyon, La Roche. I'm a Lyon graduate myself. They're all here, so you can network very, very easily. what I'm
Mm.
saying.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it sounds yeah, it's an eye opener, and I think with your trip that you're planning, the Bangkok destination, Bangkok would be a great opportunity for our listeners, our partners who are listening, as chefs, young chef listening, to take that as an opportunity to have a bit of a taste and experience and exchange. So tell us about this trip. So who is it for?
Yeah.
How
I
can one join?
Yeah, I first designed it for students from schools, right? Because I knew that these study trips would happen. It's actually quite popular around Asia. Yeah. But what would normally happen is the school would say, okay, it's break. You got 5 days. You can go to Korea and see some things, and Japan and see some things. But now what's happening with schools is they're cracking down. They're saying, hey, this has to have an academic component. This has to have an experiential learning component. And frankly, tour operators don't do that. And I just looked at the assets that Dusit had. Like, we got a school, we have hotels, we have a corporate, and we have this beautiful, innovative food school, which gives us kind of high level entrepreneurship. I'm like, just put it together. And frankly, I also did that because I was sharing resources. I knew that my team wouldn't have the bandwidth to tour hundreds of kids coming in every other month. So I just simply delegated it. Food school does their thing, the tours do their thing, Dusit does their thing, but we coordinate everything from the Dusit Thani College perspective. Yeah.
Right. So like so you receive them in groups. So this is basically this the school. So we are now talking to our education partners here, the schools that are listening to us. They are the ones who are able to coordinate this with you. With is a minimum number of students, and how does it work? How long is the trip for?
Yeah, different markets want different things. I do find in Asia it tends to be fairly quick. So 5, 6 days are pretty much what they want. And
Yeah.
also, they want to have an affordable price point. Then, if you're coming from Europe and you're going to spend a decent amount for a flight coming over, you want to be here 8 to 10 days. So I made a very modular program which can
Okay.
match both needs, and we really can do whatever we want within the parameters of Dusit. You want to go to Hua Hin to a hotel, talk about sustainability? We can. Want to spend a day at the beach at Pattaya, but also at the Dusit Pattaya? We can. We have all those assets around the country to utilize as learning centers.
So you can like more or less tailor make a lot of the trip for. So
Very much.
if our your colleagues, if our colleagues are around the world, they just connect with you. Uh, if they have any sort of parameters, they can't stay for longer than this, or they need to at least an 8 day, that you can
Yeah.
model that for them. So
Yeah,
what?
and I haven't yet explored it, but probably, let's say you have a group of individual students who aren't associated with the school. Yeah, we can put them through it too. But I guess the interest would be different. Of course, from a school, yes, we give certificate of completion, and we are, of course, even having some academic credits from the college. But if you're a young person just wants a taste of Bangkok, destination Bangkok, yeah, we could do that too.
Mm. So in detail, typically, so you would have some culinary classes. You would be learning about Thai food, cooking typical dishes. Is that what they're doing, or?
A bit more than that.
Yeah, tell us. Mm.
So all cooking and culinary is all about the kind of the ethereal, the very organic. Going to the markets at 5 in the morning, having that smoke from the chicken that's rising from the alleys and wafting over you, seeing the fish being unloaded onto the docks, just fresh caught. So that's actually kind of the raw experience we're trying to deliver. So the students would come to, for example, the food school, which is located just outside Chinatown, which is a very dynamic place. Then the food school will guide them into the local markets. We're not talking the cheap floating markets for tourists. No, the real local places where people actually buy their ingredients. And they'll have to negotiate and they'll have to identify the ingredients they need. And then they bring that back to the food school. And the unique thing about the food school is they have their expert chefs who actually come from schools, such as Alma in Italy, Dusit Thani College from us, or Suji in Japan. And those world-class chefs teach these students how to then build their recipe and create their dish.
Mm.
And of course, then around lunchtime, they enjoy their dish, right? This is all done within this unique food school environment. Then in the afternoon, we can do bespoke sake tasting or wine tasting or coffee or another program. But although Dusit Thani College is the largest culinary school in Thailand, we've sort of outsourced the culinary aspect to the food school just because of that extremely unique nature in which they deliver education. We own the part of hospitality. So when they come over to the college, we have an entire day of talking about Western versus Asian cultures, gracious guest relations and how that developed in Asia, how it could come into Western cultures, and leadership also. So that's sort of our component, right? And then again with Dusit, I mean, Bangkok is home to the Dusit Bangkok, which is the first 5-star in the entire country of Thailand. It's just been rebuilt in former glory, in fact, better than former glory. And so we get backstage passes to that. We go into the corporate offices. We even meet our actual CEO, who was very gracious in giving her time to these kind of tours. So again, I don't know anything else on earth that does that in such a specific way.
Yeah, that's an amazing initiative and a great opportunity for our members listening. So if you're already a student in a school listening, go knock on your dean's door and say, "Hey,
I want to go to Bangkok.
we want to go to Bangkok. Let's find 15 people and go." And so, I mean, tell me, in your opinion, so how important is it for young chef, young people in general to start traveling for their career? Why should they
I mean,
join a trip?
it's
You
almost a
a
question that
lot of
shouldn't
people.
even be asked, you know? I mean, why do you study hospitality or culinary arts? It gives you a passport to the world, you
Yeah,
know? You want to be a doctor and okay, you make a good amount of money and you never leave your home. Great, fine, be happy. But that's not the DNA of the kind of students that go to these kind of schools or study this area. They're ambitious, they're hungry, they're risk takers, you know, they're entrepreneurs. And again, if you're in the environments where there are other risk takers and entrepreneurs testing, failing, trying again, succeeding, that's the game. You know, it's almost like being an artist. Like back in the day, the artists of the world, you know, would gather in little shops and cafes and they travel around Europe and have these little kind of organizations. I see hospitality and culinary arts a bit like that. A little bit bohemian, also a bit business, but not a typical career path because nobody wants the boring career path anymore. This is what your parents forced you into and you didn't like it and then you got into something else, you know?
yeah.
And that's what hospitality and culinary arts can do.
I agree with that actually. Sort of, it's a sort of what do you call it? It's a like a fish tank of people that have a similar mindset, and
Yeah.
and we see that when we go to the HOSCO meetings where I first met you.
Yeah.
You have all these people from all over the world, all ages and all groups, and like we all have this little thing in common, that DNA of hospitality.
Yep.
It's like it's what binds us, and I guess it's a mental crazy group of people. So
Crazy. Yeah. Crazy is good. Crazy is good. Many a night, probably places should
yeah,
have left earlier, but that's part of the game. That's part of the joy of
and
this career.
it's just so easy to connect and what other industries, not so many industries have this amazing opportunity where you can really take your skills and travel and work anywhere, even without knowing the language or like in any language, and because it's such an open culture space in hospitality.
So you mentioned skills. I now write for a little article, season side article in Bangkok, which we also post on our Dusit Thani College blog. And I don't know if you saw it, Ragnar, but the title was "Mom and Dad, don't let your sons and daughters study hospitality management unless," right? And
And
what I did is address this thing, which I have heard for 20 years about when I ever speak to a mom or a dad talk about hospitality. Oh, we don't want our sons to be a cook or a waiter or a chef. And what I simply said is that that is a pathway to something else, but that by having that line level and or basic level experience and internship, you're learning soft skills. And I kid you not, every single employer I've ever met, and with Hosco, I met a lot of them, said, we don't hire for the skills, we hire for the personality. Or personality means soft skills. And even in the article, I give a list. And like, if you would say, when you get the question in your interview, what did you learn in your education? This list instead of finance 101, front office, culinary arts 101. If you would say the list of skills you can do, I guarantee you'll get that job. That's what they want,
mm,
you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. No, yeah, it's an amazing industry and interesting times for the industry as well. Yeah, we spoke about, we have this skills shortage uh,
Yep.
right now, and how can we attract people into our industry, and
And honestly,
you
that is
can make
something I'm really
arguments.
passionate about
Mm,
because Destination Bangkok aside, of course, that's for students at schools or studying. What about the people in society who want to get a rung on the economic ladder, right? How can they do that? You know, I've also created a program called the Talent Opportunity Program, which basically goes to people and gives them an access to Dusit hotels. Because yes, it's true, someone could probably walk into a 2 or 3 star and try to be a basic chef, but you don't walk in the doors of a 5 star Dusit hotel. You need to have the access point. When I spoke to Dusit HR, they said they reject 90% of applicants.
Mm.
So I made this program where I basically can take a basically inexperienced talent, and in 3 to 6 months, I can give them the skills they need to get that job, right? As a commis chef or as a front office operator. And we might think from the student perspective of the Swiss hotel schools, oh, why would they want to do that? But for these people, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's supporting their kids. That's supporting their families. That is something they're graciously thankful for. And I'm just a bit tired of this uber expensive bachelor degree model, and I want to democratize it to the masses. And I'm just so thankful Duzit's giving me the free reign to test this out.
Yeah.
So now I got it going in Bangkok, and my goal is now to have partners all across the ASEAN region in Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam, where they can take courses at really affordable prices. And then my job is guarantee an internship at a Dusit hotel or any hotel around the world. Very different than what I've seen done in traditional academic
Yeah.
standards.
Yeah, that's really insightful actually, and maybe a model for the future where exactly as you say, we are struggling with that old system, and maybe there is a need to reinvent the way we
Yeah.
the way we
And,
uh,
and
motivate.
what I can tell you is, the Dusit founder, his name is Kun, Honorable Mr. Shanin, and he met with our leadership group the other day, and he said, "Look, the future of education as we know it will not be as we know it. You need to internationalize and you need to diversify. The whole bachelor 4 year thing will be gone in 10 or 15 years. So we need to be putting the groundwork now in place to be ready for that. And it's skills, it's all skills and jobs. Simple."
Yeah, yeah. It's and here you are in the middle of that, huh? And so
That's why I'm here,
yeah,
because this is where the action is. This is where the flex. You think I could take the ideas I have and go to a Swiss school or American school? No way. No way. But they're so flexible and open because, frankly, Dusit also benefits. If I create these short courses and I can deliver them hundreds of interns in a span of 6 months instead of 4 years, of course, it's a benefit to them. You
yeah.
know.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful, John. That was actually an interesting conversation there, where you sort of we turned it into the future of education type of
That's
discussion.
what it is. And that's the bell I'm going to keep ringing until I can't ring anymore. Is I really think this is the future of education: short courses, diversified programs, affordable and quick. Really.
Hey, but so thanks for organizing this amazing experience tour to Bangkok, and it's a great initiative. Maybe we'll see because you are in so many countries. Maybe we'll see experience tours to other countries or other destinations. So it'll be like a road show. People can.
Frankly, that's a good idea. Again, if you're coming from Europe, if you could do, and I talked to that with some colleagues even from Hong Kong, like a little bit of Bangkok, a little bit of Hong Kong, because Asia's exactly like Europe. Once you're here, low cost flights,
Mhm.
very easy to jump around. It's 1 hour to Ho Chi Minh from here. It's an hour and a half to Singapore. Very easy. Just getting here is a bit costly.
Right. Yeah. 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 So what we'll do, we'll put all this information on this podcast page, so people will know how to find you and with the details of the program. So, but they know that they are modulable, so they can you can adapt to their needs, whether they're coming from a shorter stay or a longer stay, and what have you. And the educational package is there, so it's an educational tour. They will get a lot to bring back, and of course they will maybe for some first experience to go out and see the world and the big eye opener. And
The other thing too is Bangkok is a very safe city, extremely safe. I mean, I've lived in a lot of places, and my kids go to school alone on the BTS, which is their metro line. They'll walk into the mall alone. It's surprisingly safe for as big of a city as 10 million, 12 million people.
yeah,
It's that safe. I would never do that in America. Sorry.
yeah. So come and experience Bangkok. So yeah, thank you, John, for sharing all this and giving our members, the whole world, the schools in our network, the opportunity to experience as well. I think it's a great initiative. So wish I could come too, but
Well,
Maybe I'll drop by just on my own.
yeah, honestly. Well, obviously, we got to get you over here for guest lectures, for premium cooking experiences. Obviously, we got to do that. So let's set that up soon too. Yeah.
In any case, maybe yeah, we're, as you know, we're organizing our congress in Singapore, so I'm gonna have to make some trips to Singapore. I definitely hope to see you in Singapore. We need to discuss that
Right.
more of how we can also collaborate on the contact for a World Chef Congress in Singapore. I know you have a lot to bring to the table, so
Oh, we
so
always bring our students to those events. But let's talk about World Chefs Bangkok in the future.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, thank you for coming on the show and sharing all this. And as I said, we will share this with all our members, and I hope you'll get a great attraction. And definitely, I urge all the young people that are now starting their career or thinking what career to choose is to, as you said, jump and take the opportunity, don't miss out. And then it becomes like a little flu you have in your body. You just can't stop.
Awesome. Thank you, Ragnar.
John, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. So you'll be listening to World Chef Podcasts. I'm your host, Ragnar, and this is World on a Plate. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the show, and hope to have you with us in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe.
Thank you.
It's John. Sawadee